Take a look at this picture. Which part of the picture do your eyes go to first? If your eyes went straight to the butterfly, you're not alone. Mine did too. But then I realized I was completely oblivious to the egg, the caterpillar, and especially the cocoon. This instinct reveals our fundamental misunderstanding of transformation. We elevate the butterfly, the glorious final result, while ignoring where the true magic happens. Our cultural obsession with the butterfly obscures the essential truth that transformation occurs in the cocoon, the often messy, hidden, and necessary process of struggle that truly defines transformation. We live in a culture that celebrates the results far more than the journey of becoming. And this causes us to misunderstand growth, question our own identity, and misinterpret success. In our daily lives, we deem the results more important than the process. In schools, we celebrate offers, grades, awards. As we proceed in life, we celebrate money, luxury, perfect images. And thereby, when meeting someone new, we're more oftenly introduced by our results instead of who we are. Those gold medal, dazzling jewelry seem to represent us better than our own personalities. The results, the products of the process, are shoved in front of our faces, giving us various masks of good and bad to hide behind. These masks seem to be more tangible, measurable, and easily comparable portrayal of ourselves. Beyond that, recognition and praise tends to arrive at the end, not during the struggle. This is a very crucial reason towards why we value the results so much. Everyone likes being recognized and appreciated to different extents. We are biologically programmed to want this. When being recognized and appreciated for our efforts, our brain releases neurotransmitter dopamine, and that in turn triggers happy feelings. Growth and achievement are different, yet we tend to mix them up. We picture growth as an increase in mark, a place up, another medal. This isn't growth, this is an achievement. The website Content Authority defines growth as a continuous process that can occur in any area of our lives, whereas achievement is the attainment of a specific goal or outcome. It is often associated with success and recognition for our efforts. So we become so focused on the achievement, believing that it is a sign of growth, that we stop taking risks and start avoiding challenges. We are afraid that we take a challenge, it might result in lower marks compared to our peers, and some people might think of that as a step back. Mistakes start to feel frightening. Students begin to avoid challenges, and learning stops becoming exciting. And so this ignorance of the process, the struggle, silently strikes back at us through various aspects of our lives. It gives us a lack of strength that is needed to proceed into something new, to try something new. And so this lack of strength will lead to a concealment of our supposed signs of weakness. We ignore the value and fear the cocoon stage of becoming. We start seeing the quiet time spent learning, the grueling practice, the silent battles of self-doubt, and the pain of failure as signs of inadequacy. This is especially true for students. Students often feel ashamed of not understanding. The easiest solution to relieve the sense of confusion and the embarrassment that comes along with it seems to be concealment for most students. As young individuals, they might be confused about the contents of school, but then they would act even harder in certain ways to appear to fit in. They would nod along in class even though they don't understand. They would say they're fine even when they're not. They would compare themselves to others and then hide their own flaws. They would try not to face it because it is easier that way. Furthermore, as a result of us overlooking the journey of becoming and stressing too much upon the final results, the line between who we are and what we have accomplished becomes blurred. According to a study done by Robani Haley Defoe, society has put us into thinking that our worth goes only as far as what we have won, earned, proved, or achieved, that our identity lies within our results our offers, our jobs, our money, and our titles. So then, what happens if you don't get external validation for your efforts? What happens if the trophy escapes your grasp? We miss out on the strengths that come from overcoming a failure, overcoming a challenge. We forget that building good character takes slow and steady work, and that it isn't based on anything other than ourselves. Therefore, I believe we should redefine metamorphosis. Through good and bad reasons, we've been taught to worship the butterfly. But the butterfly is only the final advertisement. The real work happens in the cocoon. The private, messy, confusing, and slow process of becoming. It is the stage of falling but getting back up. It is the practice of patience when you desperately yearn to be on the other side. It is crumbling only to grow to something more glamorous. Therefore, I believe we need a new metaphor for our growth. Not something that holds the promise of stunts and sudden changes, but something like tree rings. Slow, steady, continuous process, built layer upon layer, season after season, year after year, and always continuing. So then what should we celebrate? Not the trophy, but the curiosity kept us going into discovering the new concept. Not the A+, but the effort it has taken us to get there. The courage it takes to start something completely new when we are unprepared. And the radical honesty of looking someone straight in the eyes and saying, I don't have it all figured out just yet. So returning to the simple image in which we start with. The cycle of metamorphosis. The egg, the caterpillar, the butterfly, and the cocoon. Our initial gaze was drawn by the beauty and complexion of the butterfly. But now please look again. Look past the instinct. Look past the allure of the finale. What demands our attention now is not what is most glamorous or promising, but where the true work is done, in the cocoon. We've all chastened the golden pedestal, but maybe this time, before the chasing, understand why we're chasing it. For the greatest and most lasting metamorphosis isn't meant for you to change to accommodate the world, but for you to change into who you are. Thank you.